Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad you could join us for today's NCJR webinar, Understanding AI and the Real Estate Landscape. We're excited to welcome Katie Lance as today's presenter. Katie is a nationally recognized keynote speaker, trainer, and real estate marketing expert who has helped thousands of agents and brokers navigate the ever-changing digital landscape. Known for her practical strategies and engaging style, Katie specializes in simplifying technology and AI so real estate professionals can confidently grow their business. Today, she'll break down how AI is transforming our industry and how you can use it effectively and responsibly. Katie, we're thrilled to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ella, and thanks so much to NCJR for having me out today. This is very exciting. I'm Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy, and we're kicking off kind of a three-part series, which is exciting. Over the next few weeks and few months, we're going to be talking all about social media and AI and technology, and it changes all the time, as we all know. And today, our focus is really on AI and understanding AI in the real estate landscape. We're going to go for about an hour. Since this is being held Zoom webinar style, you are not on camera and you are muted. So that means you can use the chat box. I see a lot of you chatting in the chat, which is awesome. I would love to hear where you are all tuning in from. Type in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. I know we have a really big turnout today, which is awesome. Like I said, we're going to go for about an hour. If you have questions, you can put those in the chat. I will try to answer as many questions as we can today. At the end, I will also give you my contact info, so you can always reach out to me. I do have my Instagram right here on the screen. If you are at a place where you've got your phone and you want to take out your phone and scan that little QR code, that'll take you to my Instagram. So feel free to give me a follow. And as we go through training today, if you hear a nugget, if you hear something that gets you fired up, take a picture of your screen, take a selfie. If you're in the office with a few other agents, I would love to see you. Take a picture, post it, tag me, tag NCJR. I'm going to hop on social later and would love to connect with you guys. I see a lot of you tuning in from all over: Basking Ridge, Short Hills, Morristown, fantastic, Montclair. Saw me at Inman this month. Ah, thank you so much, Barbara. Appreciate that. The North Pole, I love it. Livingston, Lyndhurst, fantastic. I am coming to you from the opposite coast. I am out in California. I'm out in the San Francisco Bay Area. And for those of you who are not familiar with me, again, I'm Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy. I'm author of the book Get Social Smart. As a few of you mentioned, I speak at many events. I've spoken at NAR many times, NAR Annual, NXT, Inman, Connect, lots of different associations and franchises, all over the world, which is really exciting. I work side by side with my husband, Paul. We've been married 24 years. We've been in business together 13 years. So partners in life, partners in business. We have two teenage boys who keep us very busy. And, at the end of the day, I really feel as a mom and a wife and a business owner that time is our most precious asset. Time is our most precious asset. And I feel this deeply. And it's probably one of the reasons I'm so passionate about talking about social media and AI and technology. And especially with our webinar today, we're talking all about AI. And I really feel when done right, AI can save us a ton of time. And that's what it's all about. I don't know about you, but I know I didn't go into business for myself to work, 80 hours a week. And so if we can shave off some time and be more efficient, I'm also a big believer that when it comes to AI, I don't think you need to know everything. I think it changes all the time. I know it changes all the time. And I also think it doesn't need to replace you. I think when done right, it can really help you in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to share some tips and ideas. I can see a lot of you chatting in the chat, which is awesome. So again, if you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. Again, I've got my QR code on the screen, and feel free to follow me and connect with me on Instagram or anywhere you are on social media. So this three-part series, today we're talking about AI in the real estate landscape. Our next class will be about leveraging social media for success. And then our final class will be on content creation. You can attend all of them. You can attend, whichever ones you'd like. Each of them really build on top of each other. And the idea is to really help you put together a plan and a strategy. I have found from working with thousands of real estate agents over the years that for a lot of agents, when it comes to social media and AI and technology, a lot of times it becomes something that you kind of bolt onto your business when you have time. And I'm just a big believer in integrating it into your business as much as possible. Having a plan, having a strategy, always so important. And the thing with AI is that the future is now. I often think about, back in the day, I'm a proud Gen Xer, and I remember back in the day thinking of what would the future look like? And I remember thinking of like, the Jetsons or the Back to the Future movies and just all these visions we had of what the future, quote unquote, would look like. And I'm still waiting for my flying cars or my hoverboards. But the reality is the future is now. And I remember, just a few years ago in 2022 when ChatGPT came out and just how new and exciting and revolutionary it really was and how much things have evolved and changed over the years. Now we have tools like Gemini and we have Canva and we have other tools that some of you might be using like Claude and Perplexity. And there's all, a myriad of tools. And so today in our class, we're really going to focus on a lot of the important nuts and bolts, whether you are new to all of this or whether you've been using AI for quite some time. Yes, and exactly, Ella. Don't forget to put your questions in the chat as well. Hello, Dana. Good to see you. Hello, Pat, Madeline, and welcome. So I would love to hear from those of you watching live right now. And again, we're recording this, so if you're watching this later on the recording, that is awesome. But if you're watching live, I would love to know in the chat, which AI tool are you using the most right now? Just type in the chat. If you're driving, don't do this. But if you're at home or you're at your office, are you using ChatGPT? Are you using Gemini? Are you using Canva? Are you using another tool? Just would be curious the audience that we have here. OpenAI, right? That is the parent company of ChatGPT. So I'm seeing a lot of ChatGPT. Kelly says Perplexity. I see Perplexity. Hey, good to see you, Judy. ChatGPT, Canva, Notebook. That's fantastic. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all the above. Grok. Okay, Canva. Fantastic. Canva, a lot of Canva. Good. Okay, good. Well, we're going to touch on a lot of that here today. I only have an hour, so I can't cover everything, but we're going to cover as much as possible. So I thought it would be important also to kind of take a look to see what is the National Association of Realtors doing and talking about when it comes to AI. Some of you may have read or downloaded the 2025 NAR annual report that came out at the end of the year. And I just thought I would highlight kind of 5 key things that were mentioned in the report. There was a lot that was mentioned, but specifically, a couple of things that really stood out to me. For those of you who use RPR has some great tools with CMA, with script writers. There's a lot of AI that is baked into RPR, which is really exciting. There were 25 AI-driven SEO website templates that were launched through NAR in 2025. AI tools are being used to protect the realtor trademark. AI personalization is coming to so many NAR education platforms. If you attend NAR Next or any of the multitude of webinars or training that NAR puts on, and AI is really being integrated into operations and compliance. So we're seeing it, at the top. We're seeing it across associations, franchises, so many of the vendors and tech companies that you work with as well. I'm just looking at the chat. Mirella says Gemini and Copilot. Yeah, Copilot's another good one. So we're seeing it baked into so many different tools, of course. And from a really practical level, I would imagine a lot of you are encountering AI all the time, especially if you're doing a simple Google search, right? AI has disrupted Google in a big, big way because, it used to be you would Google something and you would see, maybe some suggested posts that were like the sponsored posts, the ads, and then you would see kind of the real search results. So now what we're seeing when you're searching something with Google, we're seeing the AI response first. This is powered by Gemini. And a lot of us are just kind of reading that and maybe not even going down to the additional search results. And so there's been kind of a big disruption in this. And one of the biggest questions I'm getting asked is how do you as an agent show up? Right? So if I'm going to search, real estate agent in North Central New Jersey, how do you show up in search? And are you showing up in search? I did this recently where I went into Google, logged out of Google, by the way, logged out of Google, and then could search basically who is great at teaching social media for real estate. And I was hoping I would pop up. Yes, I did pop up. And part of how you pop up and show up in search, a big part of that has to do with your content. And I've been saying this for years, and this is actually something we're going to really dig into more in our next couple classes, but social media is rented ground. Social media is rented ground. And that's not on your screen, but I would write that down. Social media is rented ground. We don't own it. And so the mistake I've seen a lot of agents and brokers make over the years is they're putting all their eggs in one basket. They're focusing on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or wherever, and then something happens. Their account gets hacked, something happens, they can't log in, or a platform goes away, and now they've kind of lost their capital. They've lost their community. So when you put content out and you diversify your content, you don't just put it all in one basket. Doesn't mean you have to be everywhere. I don't think as an agent you have to be on 27 different platforms. I think you need to pick a couple that you enjoy being on and that your clients are on. And when you diversify your content, when you have content out there publicly on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on a public platform, you're more likely to get found, especially if you're putting out content that's not just listed, just sold, open houses. And we've been talking about this for years, right? How do you get more traction on social media? How do you get more engagement? How do you get more leads? Part of it has to do with the type of content. Are you putting out helpful content, frequently asked question content, content around your local neighborhood, your local market area, your niche? And so having a balance of promotional content, just listed, just sold, open houses, but also helpful real estate localized content is really key. And so we can't talk about AI without talking about this because this is huge. This is how people are finding us. And even if a lot of your business comes from referrals and past clients, which I would imagine for a lot of you, a lot of your business is referrals and past clients, let's be honest, we're still Googling people, right? If I were to ask for someone's recommendation on a contractor, I'm still Googling them. I'm still checking them out, right? And we do this, we do that obviously, especially in real estate, because real estate is one of the biggest financial decisions of someone's life. It's right up there with getting married or having kids, buying a home, right? So super, super important when we think about that. And time is money, right? So, as I said in the very beginning, time is our most precious asset. And I think one of the things to really consider when it comes to AI, I think we're at a really interesting tipping point because I think a lot of us realize how valuable AI is just from asking, what platforms you guys are using. Many of you are clearly using AI for a lot of different things, which is great. But I also think, the elephant in the room is I think there's a lot of us who are also kind of tired of AI. We scroll through social media and we're tired of like the AI generated videos and the content that looks like everybody else. So it doesn't mean that AI is passe or that we shouldn't use it, but I think we've all kind of come to this realization of it's important that we use it in a way that doesn't replace who we are, right? And I've often said this. I say this to a lot of the agents that we work with, and this might be controversial to say, but I often will tell agents when you show up on video on Facebook, on Instagram, or wherever, I want to see you. I don't want to see the AI version of you. I want to see you. And again, that might be kind of a hot take to say, but the reason for that is I see agents and brokers work so hard to build that know, like, and trust factor. And the moment we see, oh, maybe that's AI, maybe that's not really them, it tends to erode a little bit when it comes to trust. So that being said, how can we still use it in a way that's going to save us time and money, right? I want to give some interesting statistics too about specifically ChatGPT. So, in terms of like the growth that the ChatGPT has had, it took Netflix 3.5 years to get to 1 million users. It took Facebook 10 months, and it took ChatGPT just 5 days to get to 1 million users. And if you think that's impressive, when you think about how long did it take to get to 100 million users, it took Netflix 10 years, it took Facebook 4.5 years, and it took ChatGPT just 2 months. Just 2 months. So the amount of tremendous growth that we've seen is just absolutely incredible. Now, when we think of AI for 2026, there's a lot of things that we could think about of what this means for realtors. I think, like we said, AI is exploding. It's everywhere. We can't really escape it. Time absolutely matters. So when we think about using it, again, what I would encourage you to do is think about your own business, your own marketing, the way that you run your business. Everybody runs real estate differently. There's a million different ways to run a real estate business. And so thinking about in your own business, how can it help you when it comes to time? Is it helping you write email newsletters? Is it helping you come up with ideas for social media? Is it helping you maybe write some scripts for video content? Is it helping you with maybe some difficult conversations you're having with clients? At the end of the day, as we know, nothing will replace you. And so, whatever you're using AI for, it's so important that you review it, that you read it over. First of all, for fair housing, we want to make sure we're being compliant with fair housing and code of ethics, but also so it sounds like you. And this might sound a little old-fashioned, but whenever I'm using ChatGPT or Gemini or any tool, especially if I'm using it to do any kind of writing, once I've created something in AI, I will actually read it out loud. Because when you read something out loud, you will quickly be able to hear yourself and to say, that doesn't sound like me, or that does sound like me. And I just am a big believer. If AI can get you kind of 50% of the way there and then you do the rest, that's the way to go. All right, so let's get into some of the different tools. And actually, before I get into tools, I'm going to share this link at the end, but I wanted to just put this in right at the beginning also, just in case those of you can't stay all the way to the end. I'm going to talk a lot about tools and content, and I want to make sure that I share this as well. This is my free content grid. Now, I know a lot of you have followed me for years, so if you already have this, that's great. This is actually an updated version of this. But we are talking a lot about content in this conversation. And again, there's nothing like content where you show up, where I hear you and your personality, your opinion, your voice. So this content grid goes hand in hand with everything I'm talking about here today with AI. So if you're at a place where you can take out your phone and scan this, that'll take you to katielance.com/content grid. Put your name and email in, and then this will get sent right to your phone, but then you'll also get an email with it as well. Like I said, I'll share the link at the end too, but I just wanted to drop it in here just in the middle in case anyone had to leave early. I see in the chat, Harlita says, old-fashioned traditional way is good. Yeah, there's something about that, right? Absolutely. And by the way, when you download this content grid, you're going to get a whole spreadsheet with content ideas and some of my favorite apps and tools for doing a lot of what I'm talking about today. All right. And again, I'll share this link at the very end, but I wanted to drop this in here. So let's first talk about ChatGPT. I would say the majority of you, when I asked what platforms you're using, the majority of you said ChatGPT, although we're going to cover some other ones as well today. We're seeing agents and brokers use ChatGPT for a multitude of things. So landing pages is a big one. If you're creating any kind of ads, maybe you're doing some Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads or any kind of ads, you probably know having a landing page that's converting people from just looking at your content to actually turning them into leads is important. And you might be working with some sort of, company to do this, but if you're doing this yourself, really getting your marketing strong and your copywriting strong with your landing pages is great. I've seen a lot of agents who will take like a screenshot of a landing page or a screenshot of an ad, upload it to ChatGPT and say, this is my current ad, or these are my current ads. What do you recommend in terms of a better call to action? How can I convert this into better leads? My budget is this. What do you suggest in terms of improvement? And so landing pages can be a big part of that. Search engine optimization and YouTube. This is a really big one, especially when I mentioned earlier, when you get Googled and looking at what AI, generates. Content on YouTube helps tremendously because YouTube is owned by Google. YouTube is the number two search engine in the world. And so, if you're at the very beginning stages of social media and content, you're probably putting your content on maybe Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. At some point, though, down the road, YouTube is definitely a platform to consider. You can put your long form content, like 5, 10 minute longer videos. You can put your, short form content, YouTube Shorts. And because YouTube is a search engine, it helps tremendously in terms of, again, when you get Googled or someone is Googling someone like you. Now, the thing with YouTube is it's a slow burn. It takes a long time to get traction on YouTube, but sometimes some of the best leads come from YouTube. So what I use ChatGPT for is specifically if I'm doing any kind of YouTube content, I will use ChatGPT for help with keywords or tags or hashtags or titles or optimizing my description. Another thing is translation. If you speak any other language, and I'm curious if any of you who are listening right now speak another language besides English. If you do, let me know in the chat if you speak another language besides English. But if you are fluent in a multitude of languages, this is always something I get asked, like, Katie, should I have multiple Facebook pages? And that's a whole conversation. But if you are finding yourself needing to translate any of your marketing material, ChatGPT and other tools as well, Gemini is actually pretty good for this as well, is great for translating. Now, I do recommend that you don't use this service unless you actually speak the language. Okay, just because you can translate into say Spanish doesn't mean you speak Spanish, right? Because you want to be able to double check and make sure that it's correct, of course. I'm just looking in the chat. Okay, cool. I see a lot of folks who are speaking different languages. Fantastic. Italian, Spanish, awesome. Very cool. Hindi, Punjabi, fantastic. Cool. Good, good, good. So yeah, great for translation. That's going to be a huge time saver. Social media posts. Again, we don't want to just say, hey, write me a Facebook post and then copy and paste. Because I'm telling you right now, as I scroll through, just this morning, I was scrolling through social media and every third post sounds exactly the same. right? And it's because ChatGPT tends to write in this like professional voice that sounds like everyone else. So making sure that you're adding in your 2 cents. If you use emojis, just kind of being clear on who you are and what you're all about. What's your vibe? I think that's an important thing to think about. If you've never thought about your own personal brand, think about that. You might even consider asking a friend or a colleague, hey, when you work with me, what are some adjectives that you would describe my personality? Am I introverted, extroverted? Am I sassy? Am I funny? Am I quiet? Am I introverted? Kind of figuring out what your style is, your brand is going to help also when you're customizing your ChatGPT. And then, of course, the other three things that are on here email marketing. As I said earlier, social media is rented ground. We do not own it. So I'm a huge believer in email marketing. I know email marketing is not as exciting to talk about as, say, AI, but it's really important. And I would highly recommend you consider sending out a monthly email newsletter where you're providing a lot of value, right? Where you're sharing a helpful tip, where you're sharing a link to your YouTube or to your Instagram or to your Facebook. And again, ChatGPT can assist in optimizing your subject line, your email copy. Subject lines, as we talked about, I don't know about you, but every morning I open up my email and we choose which ones we delete based on who they're from and the subject lines. So if you're struggling a little bit with email marketing, that can help you. And then, of course, ad copy. Like I said earlier, if you're doing any kind of online or even print ads, some people, if you're doing traditional marketing that still is really working for you, or maybe you're doing postcards, you're doing, it doesn't just have to be online marketing. You could take a picture or screenshot, upload it, and ask ChatGPT for some advice, which is great. I'm looking at the chat. Lots of multi-language folks, which is fantastic, which is great. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, lots of options, of course, for ChatGPT. So in terms of just getting started, this particular slide is great for any of you who are at the very beginning stages. If you're a little bit more advanced, you probably already know this, but if you don't, this is important. Kind of three things I would say. You can start a free account with chatgpt.com. There's also a free app, which is also ad free, which is great. A lot of free apps have sort of pop-up ads, which is kind of annoying. I love using voice typing. If you hate writing, if you're a big person, you use Siri a lot, you'll love it. I feel like I'm having conversations all the time with my chat GPT. And again, you can type, you can also upload things as well. So you can upload images. And it doesn't just have to be all real estate related. I was just talking to my parents about this recently who are retired, and I suggested to my mom, I said, Mom, you could take a picture of the inside of your fridge, upload a picture to ChatGPT and ask for suggestions on what to make for dinner, right? Or make what to make this week. And so the options are kind of limitless. For real estate, obviously there's lots of options, right? You can take screenshots of emails that you might need assistance in terms of writing better. If you've got a listing, instead of just writing a prompt for, hey, I need a listing description, 123 Main Street, you can upload 4, 5, 6, 10 different photos of that listing to get a better description. So being able to upload, I think, is fantastic. And again, ChatGPT has gotten better and better. Some of you might have the pro version or the paid version. I do have the pro version. I think it's like $20 a month. You get more options. The search is typically better. I just find it's totally worth it. But everything I'm talking about today, you can still do with the free version. One thing that's really important if you're using ChatGPT, and this is true for any platform, whether I know some of you said you're using Claude or Perplexity or Copilot, basically every AI tool has a way to customize how they talk to you, how they respond. And so on the back end of ChatGPT in your settings, I highly recommend that you customize it. And if you've done this, maybe you did this 3 years ago when you first started ChatGPT, I would encourage you to go into your settings to make sure they're up to date because settings and AI changes all the time. So just making sure it's up to date, right? What should ChatGPT call you? What do you do? What are some traits ChatGPT should have? And then personalizing it with who you are, what you're all about. Just again, small thing that makes a big, big difference. So we're talking a lot about ChatGPT, but there's also Gemini, right? Gemini is owned by Google, and a lot of folks are using Gemini because especially if you're someone who uses Google a lot, if you're using Google Docs, if you're using Gmail, Gemini is baked into that. And where it really fits specifically for realtors, first of all, again, if you're using any kind of Google Docs or Gmail, it's baked right in there. We're already seeing AI, offering summaries, offering, hey, would you like me to rewrite this? Would you like me to make it better? If you're using any kind of email that is powered by Google, Gemini is baked right in there. And I often will use that. I'm writing out an email And you'll see a little pop-up that says, would you like to make this better, right? It's almost like back in the day when we would use spell check or we would check our grammar. It's kind of that same idea. It's just, maybe fixing a sentence fragment, whatever it might be. Gemini is also really great for market data. If you've got market data and you're looking for market data, I find Gemini really shines in this area. Really strong for search engine optimization, search insights. If you're trying to figure out what type of content to create, what are people asking, what are people searching for in your area, Gemini is great for that. If you're someone who uses Google Sheets, we use Google Sheets a lot. I have my marketing calendar on Google Sheets because I love that I can access it on my computer, on my phone. Gemini is also baked right in there, which is great. So I don't have to leave and go to ChatGPT. If you're someone who is in Google Drive all day, again, Gemini can help make that smarter and just more efficient, which is great. Now, I'm often asked like the differences because I use both of these and I know a lot of folks. These are probably two of the most popular. Again, there's other ones that you may use, but in terms of real estate, what we found is generally a lot of folks are using ChatGPT or Gemini. Again, similar but different. I find, and this is a great thing to take a picture of if you're taking a picture of anything. ChatGPT I find is great for any kind of like creative writing. Maybe you want to write something really creative. Maybe you want to create, an interesting script or something really kind of fun. Maybe you want to tell a story with your content. ChatGPT is really great for that. Same thing with social media captions, especially if you get really specific. If you are looking for something specifically for Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, like ChatGPT really shines when you get specific with whatever platform. Scripts. I don't necessarily use scripts a lot for video, but if you are looking for scripts, if you're someone who's like, I just need a script because I'm not sure what to say, ChatGPT really shines for that. But also for other scripts, right? If you're using for a script, maybe you're kind of looking for a real estate script, having a difficult conversation with a buyer or seller, ChatGPT is really, really great for that. It's also really great for helping you figure out your brand voice. So if you're not quite sure, like if I say the word brand voice, you're like, I don't know what my brand voice is. ChatGPT can be really helpful in helping you kind of figure out what your voice is all about. Again, you can upload different documents, you can upload pictures of your website, different things that you've done, and it's going to really help you kind of clarify that, which is going to help with all of your other marketing. With Gemini, again, because Gemini is baked into Google, it's really great for search engine optimization, great for market research. If you have a bunch of spreadsheets, you're trying to summarize, content, summarize spreadsheets, and really great for YouTube. For those of you active on YouTube, keyword brainstorming, optimizing titles, descriptions, things like that. I want to share 6 different ideas that you can use any kind of AI. So whether you're using Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever you're using, I'm going to give you 6 different ideas and feel free to take a picture of any of these or take a screenshot if you'd like, because you can use these prompts in any of these platforms. As always, you always want to customize by location, by niche, and like whatever your goal is. So I have found from working with, again, thousands of agents, especially over the last few years, that a lot of agents are using are using AI for a few specific things. Again, social media captions. Create 5 short, engaging Instagram captions for a real estate agent who just sold a home in such and such city. Each should include a call to action, relevant hashtags, use emojis. Again, that prompt is going to be dependent on you and your brand, right? Client follow-up. Again, here's the prompt. Write a text message follow-up to a buyer who toured a property yesterday. Make it friendly, brief, include a question about what they like the most. Listing presentations and email marketing. Here's a great one, especially if you can use this for luxury, you can use this for any of your listing presentations. You're a luxury real estate writer, write a 200-word listing description for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in such and such city with a pool, et cetera, right? And you guys know the more details you give, the better, of course. Email marketing. Again, I said earlier, social media is rented ground. We don't own it. So if you've got a database, would absolutely encourage you to have some sort of monthly email newsletter. I can't tell you, by the way, how many people lurk and will get your email and don't respond back. And then 6 months later or a year later, they'll say things like, "Oh my gosh, I've been following your email. I get your emails." And you don't even realize that they're reading it, right? So here's a simple prompt. Write our weekly real estate market update for buyers in such and such city. Keep it under a certain number of words, friendly tone, include a tip for navigating higher interest rates, right? Um, Diana says, I'm so sorry. If you wouldn't mind repeating number 2. Yeah, let me go back one slide for sure. Let me go back one slide. Yeah, feel free to take a picture of that. Hopefully it's not cut off on the screen for you. So the second one was all about client follow-up. The first one was social media captions. Take a sip of water. All right, I'm going to go to the next screen. Hopefully you guys got that okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, Diana. And again, if I'm going too fast or something, just let me know in the chat. So again, three, listing descriptions. Number four, email marketing. And then five and six. So five is great for educational content, for blogs, for reels. I know we're primarily talking about AI here, but I can't I can't do a webinar without talking about the importance of content. And I think a lot of you know this if you've been in real estate a long time. There's a lot of value in putting out content, right? Content about your local market, your local area. And I feel like a lot of agents, that's something that it can just feel a little overwhelming because there's lots of different options. This is where I think AI really shines. So here's a prompt here. Write a 60-second reel script about three things first-time homebuyers should know in such and such city. Use a warm, confident tone. And I'll give you a quick hint when it comes to creating content and showing up on video, because I do think video where we hear you and see you is one of the most powerful things that you can do. One quick tip I'll give you, and this is not on the screen. I've been doing this for years. I set aside a couple hours once a month where I batch create a ton of content. And I've done this for years because have felt, for myself, if I'm going to do my hair and makeup and record one video, you better believe I'm going to record like five or six or seven. And this is again where ChatGPT or any AI can help. You might say, hey, I'm going to sit down this week for 2 hours and record, 8 videos for the next few weeks, which by the way, I don't post them all right away. I might record them, but I don't post them right away. I'm planning on creating some content for this. Can you help me come up with some ideas? Can you help me come up with some scripts? And I can just tell you from experience, having some content in the can, so to speak, is one of the best ways to be consistent, which is huge. Gerald says he missed three and four. Okay, I'll go back one more screen. So three was listing descriptions, and number four was email marketing. So listing descriptions and email marketing. And again, if you've got your phone out, feel free to just take a picture. That way you can check it out later. Just looking at the chat, I saw a couple questions come through here. Is Close powered by Google? Yes, it is. It is. Um, Marie says, are you able to show slide one and two? Let me go back one more time. So one was social media captions, and then two was client follow-up. Um, okay, I think I've caught up here. Three and four, and then the last ones right here. Um, Paul, I will send you my email at the end. Yeah, if any of you would like my slides, just send me an email at the end, and I'm happy to do that. In fact, I'll just drop my email in the chat here right now. So if that slide is something that you'd like later, I'm happy to just email that to you. So don't put your email in the chat because I won't see this afterwards, but I just dropped my email in the chat. So Paul, or if anybody else wants the slides, just shoot me a quick email. Just say, hey, I was on that webinar. Can you send me your slides? I'm happy to do that. And Anne says that too. So Anne, yeah, if you'd like that also, just if you wouldn't mind shooting me a quick email. The last two things that are on here are educational content, like I said, and also number six, repurpose content. So, I'm also a big believer that content shouldn't just be one and done. You have a post about, 3 ways to get your home ready for the market. That could get repurposed in a lot of different ways. It could get turned into a video that you're talking straight to camera. It could get turned into a post on Canva. It could get turned into, a lot of an email that you send, right? Which is great. Yeah, and Ella says the recording will also be up. Exactly. Awesome. So again, we're talking all about, work smarter, not harder. This is one of my favorite quotes. If you're sharing anything to social media, this is a great thing to take a picture of and share. Again, it's 2026. It's about working smarter, not harder. I'm a big believer in work hard, play hard. Again, we didn't go into business for ourselves to work 20 million hours a week. So it's all about working smarter. That's the name of the game. Now, a few other tools that I love for AI. I also love a tool called Descript. Descript.com is great for video editing. Now, by the way, I'm mentioning a bunch of tools here. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I just use them and think they're great. If you have struggled at all with taking your videos and making them better or video editing because it can take some time, Descript is a great tool. And basically the way it works is you do it all on your computer. So it's not necessarily something you do on your phone. If you have your videos on your phone, you can take your videos and airdrop them to yourself or, get them in Google Drive or Dropbox and get them from your phone to your computer. But once they're on your computer, you can upload them into Descript.com. And the way Descript.com works is it actually transcribes your video. And when you upload it, you can edit the video basically by deleting words from the video. And in terms of AI, the AI functionality with Descript is awesome. And I use this for all my YouTube. For me, with my video content, I record my own content, I edit my own content, I post my own content. I don't have a team, it's just my husband and I. So for me, time is money. I don't have time to spend 2 hours editing a YouTube video, right? That's not going to happen. So this shaved down my time tremendously. So you can upload a video to Descript, and you don't have to use this for YouTube. You could use this for Facebook or Instagram or any of your content. And the AI tools are really great. You can use AI to remove pauses. You know, if you're pausing or you're looking down at your notes, the ums, the ahs, you can use AI to clean up the sound. You know, I did a video where I was outside and the wind was whipping. There was an airplane flying over, so you can fix the sound. You can take some of your content and it'll repurpose it into shorter clips. So if you've got a longer video and you want to repurpose it into shorter clips, it'll help you create YouTube descriptions. And ultimately, it's just like a huge time saver, which I love. So it's one of my go-to tools as well. Yeah, there is a fee, Carolyn. Honestly, I can't remember how much I paid for it because I've used it for a couple years now, but there is a free version. There's a free version, I want to say like a maybe a 2 or 4 week trial version. And then of course you're paying for it. So um, definitely worth it in my opinion. But I actually got a ton out of the free version for quite some time. So there's a lot you can do with the free version. Yeah, my pleasure. Of course, we can't talk about AI without talking about Canva. A lot of you, when I asked in the beginning what tools you're using for AI, a lot of you said Canva. Canva's amazing. I've been a Canva user forever, and there's so many great things you can do with Canva AI. There's Magic Write, Magic Design, Magic Swish, Magic Erase, Background Remover. Again, I don't think you need to know every single button as a real estate agent. I want to share some of my favorite AI tools that are baked into Canva. And I would actually, well, a lot of you already said that I was gonna ask you if you use Canva. A lot of you already said that you did, which is great. So I don't need to ask it again, but a lot of you already said that you use Canva. One of the things that I love with Canva is something called Magic Erase and Magic Edit. I use this fairly often, and this is a great tool to be able to take something out of a picture. So if you're looking at this before and after, I always like to ask, can you tell what I erased? Can you tell what I took out of the picture? This is like one of those cartoons. Remember back in the day, I feel like I'm going to date myself here, but back in the day in the newspaper, they used to have those little like graphics of like, which thing is different? How many changes can you see? Sharon says, I heard of Canva from you, Katie. Oh, fantastic. Yay, Stephen, you got it first. He says the chessboard. Yes. And it is a chessboard. At first, I thought it was a cutting board, but it is a chessboard. So the cool thing about this is for any photo, you can upload it into Canva, click on a photo, click edit, and you could basically erase anything. So if there's, maybe you've got some listing photos and you realize, oh my gosh, who left that, bag of trash in the corner? Or there's a family photo on the wall. You should obviously use it responsibly, right? We don't want to like erase power lines. We don't want to erase anything that's physically there. But if there's something in a room that maybe we just forgot to take down before we took the picture, it's great. Back in the day, we'd have to use Photoshop, and Canva works great for this. So really easy. I used this recently. I was just in New York. I connected with some of you in New York, and I have this great picture of Times Square, and I used Magic Erase to basically erase the traffic in Times Square. I wish I could do that now, but erase the traffic and then put my text along the bottom. So, one quick tip I will tell you if you're using Magic Edit or Magic Erase, sometimes you have to erase more than once, but it works really well. It's also great if you need to kind of touch up. Maybe you've done some videos and you watch yourself back and go, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why do I have a smear of makeup on my face? Or why did, or maybe I have something in my teeth or whatever. You can actually use it to kind of fix that, which is great. If you just need to make a little edit to, maybe something you don't like that's happening on your face or in your video. And it's easy and quick, which is what it's all about. I will be honest, I use Canva primarily on my computer, but Canva also has a mobile app, as I'm sure a lot of you know. I like to design on my computer or on the desktop, and then I use the app to download whatever I'm doing to post. So that's just how I prefer it. You can still use AI or you can use Canva on your phone also, but I tend to use it more on my computer. Let me hit pause really quick on this. I don't have sound for my video, but I just want to share really quick that you can also use Canva for video. And I'm just going to play this while I'm talking. This video on the right-hand side, you won't hear the music, but you'll see it kind of go by. This video was completely created by AI. The only thing that's real are the photos and really the text. And so if you don't want to use a tool like Descript to edit your videos, or maybe there's other tools that you're just like, maybe you just feel a little intimidated by videos. If you have a paid Canva account, now you do need to have the paid version of Canva to do this, you can actually go into Canva and upload your photos and videos and type a little prompt. You can say something like, please create a video for 123 Main Street, just listed, whatever the details are. And through AI, it'll create something. So again, I'll just play this really fast just so you can see it. Again, you won't hear the sound, but it looks pretty good. All I did was upload photos, give it a little prompt, and it created something pretty quickly and easily all through AI. Now it's not necessarily AI generated because it's my photos and it's my text. So you would add your photos and your text, and then you could still go in and edit it. Like if you didn't want a word or something, you could go in and edit it. But it's pretty quick and easy, which is great. Again, I like quick and easy, which is the name of the game. Um, Another tool that I love, and by the way, I've got about 15 minutes left. So feel free, again, if you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I've got about 5 more slides, and then we'll open it up to general questions. Another tool that I love for Canva is background remover. This is also an AI tool. This has only gotten better and better. This is a tool that's been around for a while, but it's really improved big time. You can use this for videos as well as photos. I use this a lot for my thumbnails, right? Like, on if you're scrolling through YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, generally speaking, a lot of people have a kind of a thumbnail, right? Sort of a professional cover. It's like the cover of a book. And I do recommend using Canva for this because if you just take your video and you upload it, let's say you upload your video to Instagram. If you don't pick a thumbnail or you don't pick a cover photo, that platform is usually going to pick the worst possible picture of you. Okay, like your mouth's half open, it's not going to be good. So, one of the things I do, I mentioned earlier, I set aside a couple hours once a month where I batch record a lot of videos. I'm not posting them right away, but I will record a lot of content all in one sitting. I will edit them, I'll get them all ready to go. The other thing I do is I take a lot of pictures. So if I'm already doing videos, I will take a few pictures, and those pictures I often will use for thumbnails. So you can see I've got a picture of myself sort of pointing. I will take that photo, upload it into Canva, and then remove the background. And then I just put that into a template, right? And you can see on the right-hand side, it says San Francisco real estate. I took a stock photo from Canva, which, by the way, Canva has an amazing stock photo and video library. If you're looking for, stock photos or stock video footage, there's a plethora of it. I added kind of a fake logo, but you can see how much better that looks, right? Than if I would have just randomly uploaded a video. So love that for especially any kind of thumbnails. I'm just looking at the chat here. Someone asked, if you make a video on Canva, can you upload it to all platforms? Yeah, yeah, you absolutely can. You can upload it to TikTok, Instagram, you can upload it to just about anywhere. I recommend, though, I find it's better when you create it in Canva to actually download the file on your phone and then upload it to TikTok, Instagram, or wherever you want to go. A brand new update that is being rolled out right now to Canva also is Canva is actually connecting with a lot of third-party platforms. So if you're someone who uses like Hootsuite or Later.com or Planoly, like there's all these other platforms that people use to schedule content. If you're someone like that, Canva is now connected to those platforms, which is kind of great. So you can take your content and just schedule it if you're using another platform to schedule it. So yeah, great question. Another tool that I want to mention. So we've talked about ChatGPT, we've talked about Gemini, we've talked about Canva, I've talked about Descript. I can't talk about AI and not talk about one of my favorite tools. And this is a tool I've used for about 2 years now. It's called ManyChat. ManyChat, ManyChat.com, ManyChat.com. This is an AI automation tool. Now, I want to be the first to say I was a little hesitant to jump on the AI automation platform because I am very proud of the fact that when you comment on something I type on Instagram or you DM me, like it's me. I want to have that personal connection. But I also know if someone is coming to Instagram and they're looking for something right away from me, they're looking to work with me or they're looking for information, they want that right away, right? They don't want to wait. So I use ManyChat as a great lead generator, and I have an example on the screen of an example of how this works. So if you've got your phone out, you can kind of do this live example, all right? What you're going to do is you're going to take your phone out and scan this QR code. Now, if you're on Instagram, if you have an Instagram account, this is going to take you to Instagram. So you're going to scan this. This is actually going to go to a post I posted back in September, and it's a post that highlights my free social media resources. So you scan that. When you get to that post, what you're going to do is follow me on Instagram. You're going to like and comment. And when you comment, you're going to comment with the word free. When you comment with the word free, you're going to get an automatic DM, an automatic direct message from me that says something like, hey, thanks so much. Here's a link to those free resources, yada, yada, yada. Now, whenever I do this in front of a big group of 100 or 200 agents, every once in a while, Instagram hiccups. So if you do not get it right away, do not fret. I will share my email at the end, and I can get you those free resources. But let me know in the chat. Give me a quick yes or no if you scan this and you got a DM from me. All right? Let me know if you scan this and you got a DM from me. I'm going to scan it too, and I'll see if for some reason you can't scan it. I'm going to see if I can drop the link in the chat here really quick. Let's see if I can do this while I'm multitasking here. Let's see here. Let's hit copy link. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat just in case you can't scan it. Okay. All right, cool. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Susan says yes. Nalaka says yes. Mariana says yes. Angela says yes. Awesome. So now sometimes it goes to your spam. Okay. And again, if it doesn't come right away, it might come in a minute or two. So I'm sharing this with you because you may have seen people use something like this on social media, right? If you've been on Facebook or Instagram, you often will see people say like, hey, if you'd like my free guide to this, comment below with this word. And you may have wondered, how are they doing that? So there's lots of different tools that will do it. I've used ManyChat for a couple years. I find it's pretty easy, pretty user friendly. Again, there's a free version, so you can try it out for a few weeks to see if you like it. Then there's a paid version as well. I don't do this with every single one of my posts, but again, social media is rented ground. We do not own it. I don't want my whole community just hanging out on Instagram. So for me, a couple times a month, when I'm thinking about my content, I'm often thinking, how can I drive people from Instagram to my website, to my email newsletter, to my CRM? So for you, if you've got some content, maybe you've got some content around buying or selling real estate in your market area. Let's say you're in Short Hills. Maybe you've got a guide to the three things that everyone in Short Hills needs to know if they're selling their home. Well, at the end of that video or at the end of that post, you could say something like, hey, if you'd like my guide to moving to Short Hills, comment below with the word guide and I'll send it to you. Right? So you kind of want to reverse engineer it and think about, what do you already have? First of all, who do you like to work with? Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to attract? And then think about, what do you already have? Do you have a relocation guide? Do you have a moving checklist? Do you have a first-time home buyer guide? Do you have a guide for working with veterans or whatever it might be? That could be a great call to action, right? Yes, Joanne, I'll drop the link one more time here. Cool. A lot of you are saying yes. Michelle said yes. Eileen, Diana, now yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. So again, that's done through minichat.com, minichat.com. I will drop my email in here as well. So for some reason you did not get it, just shoot me an email and I will send you that free resource. All right. Awesome. All right. So I've got a few more things and then we're going to wrap it up and answer any last minute questions. I know I've talked about a lot of apps, a lot of tools. I love a great app. I love a great tool. But at the end of the day, there's not an app or tool that can replace you. And especially with AI. I said this in the beginning. I know it's a little bit of a hot take. I don't want to see the AI version of you. I don't want to see your AI twin. I want to see you. And I know it's really tempting because nowadays you can set something up to like make video for you. And that sounds really tempting because a lot of us do not like how we look. We do not like how we sound. We do not know how to do it, so that we don't do it. But I'll never forget, I had a good friend of mine many years ago who very lovingly reminded me. She was like, Katie, that's how you look and that's how you sound. So you got to get over it. So I will lovingly tell you the same thing. There is not an app or tool that will replace you. And especially in this day and age of AI, you know what I'm also really taking a lot of joy in is taking the online offline. So yes, AI can help tremendously with SEO and email marketing and social media posts and coming up with ideas, but nothing will replace you picking up the phone. You go on Facebook today and you see it's someone's birthday, you could be one of the 50 people that writes on their page. You could use Meta's AI to write on their page, or you could be the one person that calls them. You could be the one person that texts them, right? And I think now more than ever, we are craving that personal connection. So I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir. Real estate's a relationship business, but it's so, so important. Last two things, and then again, I'm happy to answer any questions. One thing I always say at the end of any of my training is done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. It's really easy to come to a training like this and to get a little overwhelmed by all the ideas and tips and tools. And et cetera, et cetera. I always just say pick one or two things, implement them immediately. Progress, not perfection. And again, if you want to take a picture of anything, take a picture of this. If anything, just for yourself. I actually have a little sign on my desk. I think it's buried under my paperwork that says "Done is better than perfect." All right, last thing I want to share. I shared this link earlier, but if you weren't able to scan it, make sure you download our free content grid. I will try to put that link in the chat also, just in case you can't scan it for whatever reason. This is going to be a great companion to everything we're talking about here today. It's going to give you a ton of ideas and tips and resources and links. And then I also have my email on this as my social media handle. So I'm happy to connect and chat with any of you. All right, I'm going to take a second and scroll through the chat here. If you have questions, let me know in the chat. And first of all, what did you think? Did you enjoy this? Did you get something out of it? Did you have some ahas? Let me know in the chat what you thought. Anne says, awesome, you're just what we needed on this bright, snowy day. Oh, fantastic. I'm sending you some California sunshine. Julie says, thank you. This is very helpful. Fantastic. She says, I'm insecure on video. Is there a video app you recommend that softly photoshops you on video? Oh, that's a great question. There's not really a video app that will do that, but what I recommend, Julia, is record on your phone. Okay. Record on your phone. There are some filters on your phone. I have an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, I think Android works the same way. You can use a filter if it makes you feel more comfortable. I would say just record just normally without a filter on your phone. And then what I like to do when I upload my video to Instagram, once you've uploaded a video to Instagram, you can actually swipe across the screen and there's a few filters that kind of like smooth things out a little bit that just kind of make it a little bit more flattering. That's what I like. That's kind of my hack for doing that. So it's kind of simple and easy. It doesn't really require another app. Thank you guys for all the questions and all the positive feedback. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Gerald and Horleda. Fantastic. Maggie, Sharon, you guys are awesome. Diana says, are there any helpful videos that would be helpful? Or are there any helpful beginner videos? Diana, you might want to go over to my YouTube channel. If you just search Katie Lance on YouTube, I have a lot of different playlists. I've been putting out videos forever. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a whole playlist on ChatGPT. I have a whole playlist on AI. I have a whole playlist on Canva, and I'm updating those all the time. So yes, you could go back and see older videos, but especially most recently, a lot of these videos are quick. Some are a minute or two, so like just kind of quick hits. And if there's something that you're looking for that you can't find, just email me and I will send it to you. If I don't have it, I'm happy to point you in the direction of another trusted colleague who, might have a video or something that would help you. Julie says, what's your favorite app that automatically creates text captions on the bottom of the videos? I do that honestly, usually all right within Instagram or TikTok. I also like CapCut. So CapCut, I'll put that in the chat. That's also a really easy app for just kind of quick videos as well. Let me just look in the chat. I saw a couple other Q&A happen. I just want to make sure. I think I got everything here. Oh yeah. So Marie asked about CapCut. Yeah, CapCut is great. CapCut is owned by TikTok, so that's just something to consider. Just, TikTok's been a little bit up in the air in terms of like ownership and things like that. And again, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket. So, but CapCut is really great. There's a desktop version of CapCut, and there's also a mobile version of CapCut. I will say one quick thing I love about CapCut is the templates. So you can go into CapCut and search like real estate templates or any kind of templates, and it'll pull in whatever photos and videos you want and make something really quick and easy. So the templates are actually really kind of cool. Very helpful for someone new to AI. Oh, good, 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 good. Jody says, what's your thoughts on posting market activity to your local area? I think that's great. I think if you're going to post market activity, I would do it a couple different ways. I would post graphics. So I would maybe use Canva. If you have Canva to kind of visually show what it looks like. And then I would also do a video where you show up on camera and you're like, hey, let me tell you what's going on in the local market area. I think both are valuable. I think you could do maybe one on a Monday and one on a Tuesday, kind of split it up. You could even do a video where you've got like a market stat kind of behind you and you're kind of pointing to it. A lot of realtors do that. Within Instagram, there's a little green screen button where you can hit green screen and have something behind you like a market report. I'd probably also include it in an email newsletter. I think any content, ideally, it's not just one and done. People just don't see our content. It's not, social media nowadays is so different than it was 10 years ago. So it's okay to put it in a couple different places. The desktop version of CapCut is slow. Yeah, it depends on, a lot of times it depends on your computer, it depends on whatever else you have open. I actually got a new computer recently and it's been fine, but sometimes, yeah, it can have some issues. Where do you see ethical, legal boundaries emerging with AI generated? I think you just have to be careful. Anytime you are pulling numbers from AI, check your sources, double check your numbers. I prefer to get data from a trusted source like NAR or your local association, like, NCJAR. And then I like to use an AI tool to kind of say, okay, here's the data. Can you make this into something really readable, something really easy to understand, things like that. Thank you so much, Juanita. All right, my friends, I want to be respectful of our time. And Ella, I don't know if we had anything else as we get to the end here today. Any last minute things you wanted to cover before we get to the end here?
I just wanted to let them know about the recording. So we will follow up with the recording once that's up. You can go on our website, www.ncjr.com, or we will email that link to you so you can directly go on it and click the link. And yeah,
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Ella, and just everyone at NCJR. It was great being here today. Thank you guys all for tuning in. If you have any questions or you missed anything, email me, DM me. If you'd like the slides, feel free to email me. Also, I'm happy to send you those as well. And we'll see you for our next class. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
thanks everyone.
Bye for now.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you so much.